Happy Ghana month. It's Monday morning. Good morning and welcome to the morning news right here on TV3. We are coming to you live from our studio starts at the subway Kanda. We're also streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. My name is Safwa Bahine. I'm coming up this morning. President Mahama to open national economic dialogue at the Accra International Conference Center. Also coming up this morning, residents of Komenda appeal to government to work quickly to operationalize Komenda sugar factory. And in international news, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer unveils four-step plan to guarantee peace in Ukraine following a summit with European leaders in London. We have details of this and many more coming up shortly. Please stay with us. Many thanks for joining us this morning. Let's settle for the details now and to our first story. More than 200 people in communities along the Keta Lagoon in the Volta region have been displaced following another incident of tidal wave on Saturday. Saturday's distractions caused by the sea is the fourth of such since the start of year, leaving a significant impact on properties and livelihoods of residents in parts of the Ketu South, Keta and Anglo areas. Many homes, farmlands and critical infrastructure were damaged or destroyed, leaving families without shelter and resources. The increasing frequency and intensity of tidal waves in Ghana's coastal areas, particularly in the Volta region, are being linked to the effects of climate change. Rising sea levels coupled with erratic weather patterns have led to the erosion of coastlines, displacing thousands of people from their homes and threatening their sources of livelihood. Experts warn that without urgent intervention, the problem could worsen, with more communities along the coast at risk of being submerged by rising water. As the country grapples with the dual challenges of climate change and coastal erosion, the need for sustainable solutions to protect vulnerable communities has never been more critical. We will be getting our correspondent who has been there, studied the situation there, and will be telling us more about it and what has been happening as and when we get him. We'll definitely get back and get some more information about that. But moving on and going to our next story, the National Economic Dialogue will open later this morning at the Accra International Conference Center. The dialogue is expected to offer a platform for the public to share their views on how the government can address the challenges facing the economy. Professor John Gachi is a member of the National Economic Dialogue and the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School.
I think before he addresses the dialogue, the chairman of the planning committee will give a welcome address, and then Dr. Kewa Moku will give the setting the scene. Thereafter, the finance minister will give the true state of the economy, challenges and the opportunities therein. Then after that, the president of the republic will give the keynote address. The difference here that the situations are different. The issues we are confronted with, they are similar, but there are some differences in it. So that is the issue. Well, we have 6 thematic areas. One of the thematic areas focuses on private sector-led growth. That is why you see the private sector featuring, dealing with some of the bottlenecks that will inhibit the private sector participation. So we want to unleash an opportunity for the private sector to effectively participate in the running of the economy, in providing infrastructure, developing businesses, providing industries for us, etc. So that is the role that the private sector will be playing. Then we have restoring macroeconomic stability. We're also going to focus on growth with depth. That's talking about inclusive and sustainable growth. We are going to talk about structural reforms and policy reform that will also focus on regulatory reforms that will provide a competitive business environment for all of us. Then I think we'll end it up with restoring good governance and eliminating or combating corruption.
Let me take you back to the first story where we have heard that about 200 people around the Keta Lagoon side has been invaded upon by tidal waves, and our correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu has been following the situations in these areas and joins us with some more details. Faisal, many thanks for joining us this morning. A very good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. Yes. If you can hear me.
Great. Kindly take us or paint a perfect picture of the level of devastation that has caused the people of Keta.
Well, it's a worrying situation in communities along the Keta Lagoon, particularly Salakope, Amutinu, and Agaveji in the Ketusav area. Apart from the Ketusav area, there are places in Angolo and the Keta areas that are also suffering from this devastating situation along the Keta Lagoon. I have been here since 2021, following up on the recurring tidal wave situation. And each of the time I enter any of these communities, I become a bit depressed, because you come to meet a structure, a building here this morning, we return tomorrow and realize that the entire building is gone. The sea has taken over the place. Now, this year alone started from January, and up until Friday. Friday there was another tidal wave incident. And so between January and February 30th, there have been 4 incidents of sea erosion already in these areas, and the few buildings that were left just along the sea, just along the Keta Apla Road are also gone.
Right.
And so when you enter Salakope, Agaveji in particular at the moment, let me say, almost every house that existed in these communities, particularly on the side of the sea, are gone, except a few that are on the other side of the community, which is the Lago side. And so the situation here is terrible, and when you enter here, you definitely would feel for these people. Over the weekend, about 200 people have been affected again, leaving them homeless. Now the numbers keep increasing. Between 2021 and now, the numbers run into thousands, and so it's a scene that you just cannot come to terms with.
Absolutely. Faisal, this is a very sad one indeed, and our hearts goes out to each and every one of them. And we would want you to tell us about what the authorities are also doing about it, because for all I know, this is not the first time something like this is happening to the Volta region people. So what at all are the people and the authorities doing about this? Hello, Faisal, can you hear me? Okay, we will definitely get back to Faisal so that he can tell us more about the situation. Very devastating, very sad Monday morning hearing this. We hope that things get together quickly, especially for the over 200 people who are going through this turmoil and havoc. But we'll be moving on, and as and when, okay, I think Faisal is back with us. Faisal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you if I can proceed.
Great. So earlier I was talking about the fact that this is not the first time these tidal waves have happened to the people of the Volta region. What at all are the authorities doing about it as at now, from Saturday up until now?
Yeah, I mean, I know you mean to say this is not the first time. Yes, since the incident started this year in January,
right?
I am aware the Volta regional minister has been there twice already. Just this Friday, he was there with a team from NADMO and from the various security agencies. His visit was to inform the people about the fact that government is concerned about their situation. Government considers this to be a national security issue, and then also to distribute to them some relief items that have been brought by NADMO. We were told that the member of parliament for the area, Jifa Abla Gumashi, had earlier appealed to the Interior Ministry, and the ministry directed NADMO to run to the aid of the people with some relief items. Now, going forward, there is this conversation about the, the first project, which has been a conversation since 2021. The Mahama-led administration, while they were in opposition, visited the areas countless times and made the problem.
Unfortunately, it's frozen again, but we'll definitely get back. On your screen earlier, we were seeing that people were sleeping outside. I could see some lantern and, some lights of a sort in the evening. I could see some children. So when Faisal gets back, I personally would like to know where they slept and where exactly that place they got was, since Nadmo and then other people have come to them. But we will be taking another story to move on. When Faisal comes back, we'll definitely get back to him and get more from him and know the situation on the grounds. But demands to operationalize the Komenda sugar factory are growing among residents of the Komenda Edina Eguafo Brim district. The lack of jobs in the area while the factory remains non-operational is a major concern for the people. Correspondent Akwesiado visited the area and filed this report.
Established in 1964 by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Komenda Sugar Factory initially aimed to produce sugar for both domestic and international markets. However, by the early 1990s, operations ceased due to managerial and technical challenges. Twice in 8 years, the government of Ghana has tried to revive the Komenda Sugar Factory. In 2016, the government under President John Mahama invested $35 million, a loan facility from the Indian Export-Import Bank, to revamp the factory. This investment was followed by an additional $24 million for the purpose of growing sugarcane to feed the factory. The Akufo-Addo-led administration, which took over in 2017, signed a deal with an Indian firm to run the factory. Despite all these interventions, the factory is still not operational. People in the Komenda area are extremely worried that the factory is not operating while they struggle to find jobs.
You may summon the oil of a bit the sugar factory for the past 8 years.
Finding a job here is difficult. The sugar factory has not worked for the past 8 years. They keep doing maintenance, but it never works. We travel to far areas like Takoradi and Takwa to find jobs. So we are pleading with the new government to make the factory operational.
We
have a sugar factory here. When it works, we will find jobs, and it will help bring down social vices. We are pleading with them to operationalize the factory for us. Farmers who are committed to growing sugarcane in anticipation that their produce would be procured to feed the factory are in a state of despair. The national president of the Sugarcane Farmers Association, Samuel Mensah, spoke about the woes of sugarcane growers. We grow the sugarcane because of the factory, but because it is out of operation, there is no value for our produce. Those who come to buy offer cheaper prices. I am currently in court with one of them. We are hoping that the factory would run so they can purchase our sugarcane.
Just Friday, I'm in a court. But the cat, here, man, factory, I started Juma. Now you traction on the factory.
With the NDC and John Dramani Mahama returning to power, former executive secretary to the management board of the Komenda Sugar Factory, Ransford Vani Amwa, believes the factory will be operationalized. He, however, wants the government to focus on supporting farmers to grow sugarcane to run the factory.
The purpose of that loan is for the factory to produce sugar
cane, 40% of the raw material that will be needed will be owned by the factory. Then the 60% will use part of this money, the $24.54 million, to help the outgrowers to expand their farms, so that at least we will not have issue in terms of the availability of the raw materials. So I know that this government will revisit that arrangement and will ensure that our farmers will be rest assured, because we know that we will improve their livelihood.
About 7,500 people are anticipated to gain employment when the factory becomes operational. The Member of Parliament for Komenda Edina Egwafu Abrem constituency, Samuel Tamale, believes that apart from providing jobs, the factory will also help reduce sugar imports and contribute to the growth of the economy.
We have the land. There are lots of people who have pledged to give us the land for us to do the job. What we need is for injected finances for this factory to go on. What is sad is this: if you look at Komenda, Edina, Egwafu, Abrim, all our kids are outside looking for jobs. Whilst we have a factory over here that can give us at least 7,500 jobs, why are we not operationalizing this? Anyway, I understand. We built it, and we are going to make sure that it works again.
The Minister for Trade, Industry and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, on a recent visit, emphasized the importance of restoring the factory to reduce Ghana's reliance on sugar imports.
The regional minister, the MP Nananom, and my good self will work together on the instructions of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to revamp Komenda Sugar Factory. We hope to extend the capacity once we start work. The plans for this factory is huge, and I'm sure that very soon we will see signs of work at this place, so that our young people will find job, and then we'll have advantage of the full value chain. Look at it, the agribusiness side of agriculture.
Sugar imports have put a strain on the city, as huge amounts of dollars are spent annually to import sugar into the country. Ghana continues to import approximately $500 million worth of sugar annually. Operationalizing the Komenda Sugar Factory will cut down on imports and provide jobs for the teeming unemployed youth. For TV3 News, I am Akwesi Ado, Komenda.
Let's bring you some more stories now. And President Mahama has reiterated his commitment to improving infrastructure development in the Ashanti region. He has assured that his government will ensure stalled hospital projects are completed to serve the people. He made the statement while fellowshipping with the clergy in Kumasi on Sunday. William Evans Inkum has filed this report.
Last year, President Mahama met with the clergy as the opposition leader of the NDC. He knelt and received a prayer. Two main objectives: God's intervention for a peaceful election and the ultimate target, win the polls. He won.
When a dream say Adibetching, maybe can say 3 days now, Yadaso Air Train Electoral Commission. Adichin, ya me mada, and in Yademi. Yes, you knew a person no Casa. Yes, you knew a person no Casa, Missy Minya Bay. Yes, you knew a Vice President Baumia. And I'm see you, and yet, Mamma, 1 minute, me rub a bathroom, me cock room, me trim and say, and I, me befa me phone. Me share na million on the work phone, so. Was a million penny. Me friend, I can tell say, a kuna yo kunyano, a yo compa, na me share send your corner, walk and wedding kunim.
4 months later, he's back to thank the Lord and the clergy. His message of developing the Ashanti region has been consistent and a firm assurance to these ministers of the gospel of his commitments.
Several projects that commenced under my previous administration and stalled under the recently outgone administration. I've assured Otumfo that we'll complete the Sewa Hospital this year. The completion would allow us to decongest Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital so that important rehabilitation works can continue there. I've spoken to the managers of Eurojet, the Invest, who are the contractors, and they have assured me that they will resume work in earnest at the Afari Military Hospital, ensure the speedy completion of that facility. Other projects such as the Swami Interchange and other road works were commenced without dedicated funding. But we have to look for sources of funding, and we're looking for sources of funding to speed up the work on these projects so that we can ease the congestion and inconvenience that the residents of Kumasi face.
The President's commitment to ensuring all-inclusive in his administration is not only evident in the current structure of the local government ministry, but his call to churches to also go into agric with that assurance of government is also an evidence that he is committed to fast developing the country's economy.
And I wish to confirm that any church that decides to go into agribusiness or agriculture, government will be there to support you.
William Evansinkum, TV3 News, KNUST, Kumasi.
Now away from the Ashanti region, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company Limited, NEDCO's warehouse in Tamale was engulfed in fire on Sunday, March 2. The fire led to the destruction of transformers and other electrical equipment. Firefighters responded promptly to the scene and worked to extinguish the flames. While the cause of the fire is still unknown, local firefighters suspect that an electrical fault may have been the source of the blaze. Maxwell Kotoka, Corporate Communications Director of NEDCO, has assured the public that the fire will not disrupt power distribution in the area. He emphasized that the situation is being closely monitored and all necessary steps are being taken to ensure the continuous supply of electricity. Kotoka also urged the public to remain calm and report any issues promptly to the authorities. Let's do international news now, where UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has unveiled a four-step plan to guarantee peace in Ukraine following a summit with European leaders in London. He added that Europe must do the heavy lifting, but backing from the US is needed, and says the UK, France and others have agreed to work with Ukraine to end the fighting. The Prime Minister also announced the UK government will allow Ukraine to use £1.6 billion of UK exports finance to buy more than 5,000 air defense missiles. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said it's important Europe prepare for the West. And after Trump's berating of Zelensky in the Oval Office raised fears of the US pulling support for Ukraine and imposing a peace plan negotiated with Russia, Europe is trying to ensure Kyiv is not squeezed out of any talks. That will be all for the News Bulletin right here on TV3. Many thanks for joining us. New day continues right after the break. My name is Safwa Bwahni. Do have a lovely day.